Separate the real from the fake. See, we got to get back to love. If we get back to love, then that's when we're going to get back to us.
Seems like it's never enough. And what do you say when you're...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of People Empowerment, where we would strive to change the conditions in our city. My name is Nate Boyd, and I'm your host of People Empowerment. How is everybody out there today in TV land? I hope this time catches you well. Today is going to be a very interesting show. Today we are going to literally push some buttons. Today, I'd like to talk to you, Buffalo, about what I would call the state of the village. Let me say that again. The state of the village, the state of our village, okay? The state of our village. As I go around the neighborhoods and I talk to people in our neighborhoods, they say that the neighborhood is the village. They say that it takes a whole village to raise a child. They say in our neighborhoods that we have children that are running around unraised because they don't have the help of the village. What does that mean? That means the help of everyone in the village to make things better for every other person in the village, and especially our children. What is the state of our village? When I say the state of our village, I'm talking about the village that I live in, the village that's right here in the hood, around Jefferson Avenue, in the hood, in the black neighborhood. This is my village. I am a part of this village. Although the city is the broader, bigger picture in the big village, this little section is mine. It's ours. And as such, I would continue to talk to you today about the state of our village. Now, it would seem on the outside, if people were looking in, that things are looking up here in this city. Okay, but if you look closer into this city, if you look down into my village, if you look down into where I come from, then you will see that in the last 6 years, nothing has really changed for me or for the villagers that live in my village. Crime is just as bad as it ever was. Poverty in the village is just as bad as it ever was. The joblessness is just as bad as it ever was. The violence is just as bad or worse than it ever was. The problems are still the same, though they may be a little worse than they ever was. Problems a little worse than they ever was. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact if you put into relationship the things that have transpired in our community, the black community in the hood, you'll see that nothing in the hood has really changed yet. If you look at the big picture and you look at the city, you will see that indeed things have changed in the city. You will see that indeed businesses are starting to prosper in the city, especially the downtown area. If you would pay attention, you would see all of the money that is flowing into the city, all of the business, all of the jobs that are created in the city. You would see that if you look around our village, our city village. Yet, what you will not see if you look around the city is villagers that look like me. People that look like me. Or, you know what, to be fair, let me change that. In the past, you wouldn't see people that look like me. But I've noticed lately in the last month or so, if you go right downtown on Main and Court, you will see some people out there working that look like me. Now, some people ask, is this just a ploy now that it's, should I say it, election time? Is this just a ploy to try to put some makeup on a bad wound by right downtown Main Street having a few people that look like me now working? We don't know for sure. But what we can say is, in our village, where we live at, things haven't really changed that much. I've told you before that there was over $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion spent on our infrastructure, on work downtown and around surrounding areas in the city, with all the school projects that are going on, the Roswell project is going on, the UB campus corridor that's going, the medical corridor that's going on, all the work that's going on downtown on the waterfront, the Webster Block project, all these things. There is money and business flowing into the city, yet the city residents don't seem to be cashing in on that. So I would say to you, what is the state of our village? It's not looking good. Let's go to education, and let's go to our school system. And it's to my understanding that out of, I think, 54 schools, don't quote me exact, but out of 54 schools, about 47 of them are failing. Yet we are in a school district where they get $1 billion a year. $1 billion a year is pumped into our school system for our kids to be trained, the learning system. It averages out to about $27,000 per student per year. Now, when Carl Palladino came on this show a few months ago, when he told me that, he said it was around $25,000 per student, more than college tuition. I was literally kind of shocked at that number. Then a couple months later, indeed, there was some fact checking done on the news, and it came out that it was averaged around $27,000 per child. Still, we have a failing school system. Still, as I say, crime continues on the east side. What's going on with the village? Yet, the head of the village looks like me. The head of the village walks like me. The head of the village talks like me. Yet, the situation is the same. You see what I mean? Even in my neighborhood, if we was to break it down, like I say again, and just break it down to not even the generality of the whole city, but just to the small community, the community I come from, I can tell you people clearly, and you people that live in my community, I can tell you clearly, nothing has changed. You know nothing has changed. You know you still ain't working. You know your son still ain't working. You know your daughter still ain't working. You know the kids still hanging out in the corner. You know the crime is there. You know, and you still saying to yourself, what can we do to change the situation? What can we do to change the condition in our village? What can we do to change the state of our village? Well, as we go forward in our conversation today, we're going to look at a couple of specific ways where we can change the condition in our village, where we can change the condition in our community. And there are several ways that we can do that. But let us never forget or get off the track that we need to pay attention to the state of our village. We need to pay attention to what's going on in our village and what's not going on in our village, and what's going on in the surrounding villages around us is very important. So I would tell you to keep your eyes fixed and try to pay attention on what's going on in your neighborhood, in your community, what's going on in the state of our village, okay? Now, I'd like to move forward, and I'd like to move to some solutions for what's going on in our village. And most of my solutions that I have what's going on in our village is a four-letter word. It's just one word, but the understanding of it has a multiplicity of understanding. When I say that, I mean that the word, it's one word, but it stands for so much. The word is jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs. Now, when I say jobs, I mean jobs for the people in the village, jobs for the city residents. Now, this sends me right back to the fact that if you drive around the city of Buffalo, you will see all the construction work going on. Now, let's understand that construction work is prevailing wage work. Infrastructure work is prevailing wage work. What does prevailing wage mean? Well, prevailing wage means that that it's a high paying job. It's a fair wage. So therefore, it's one of those jobs where it could be paying anywhere upwards of $20 an hour. Certain fields are $30 an hour. Certain fields can be $40 an hour. Now, I'm telling you that there are people that are working in our community that are making money like that. Yet, the money isn't turned around and flipped in our community. The money is taken out of the community. And that's where the problem lies. You see, we do see people working, but they aren't our people. It's not even a matter of they aren't even black people, although I'm trying to represent my people. But it's not even the fact that there's not black people. They're not city residents. You understand me? They're people that come into the city, work, get the money, take it out of the city, and spend it in their communities. So I have always said and stuck to this: what is the job quota? What is the job ratio of city residents that have to be hired on a city job? What is the ratio of minorities that have to be hired on a job? You know? And on top of that, when are they going to stop practicing when they do hire minorities, they call, and this is no disrespect meant, but they call white women a minority. White women a minority, and they put them in the same class with black people and with black men. And it's another way to hire the white woman to still continue to keep the black man down, because that's the villager that society wants to keep down. Even when they hire black, usually they hire the black woman because they want the black woman to be on top of the black man. They want the black woman to be able to bring in the funds and keep her foot on the neck of the black man. Society has set in place these ways and these tendencies where they continue to try to keep the black man down. They continue to want to keep us down for whatever reason. They don't realize what a benefit that we can be to society. There used to be a time when the villagers were unified. There used to be a time when the city residents were unified. But now that time has gone and everybody is out for self. But what I would say to you is, again, it's about jobs. It's about jobs for city residents. This is the truth, you guys. Now, I would say to you this. At our website, People Empowerment website, what we have set up is we have set up a polling page, a registered page. And what I would say to you, people out there, is that this is what we need you to do. If you want to get involved in what's going on in your village, if you want to get involved in what's going on in your city, and I would say to you that this is what I would like for you to do. Go to the website, People Empowerment. Don't put in the WW. People tell me they're trying to go, they punching in WW. Don't do that. Go straight to the top bar, punch in peopleempowerment.apollomediacenter.com. And then the website is going to pop up. And it's going to pop up the home page, and then they're going to show you some shows that we've done in the past that you can view if you want to. And then they're going to take you to a registration page, a poll page. And that's where you guys register your support for our movement, improving our village. You know what I mean? What is your pet peeve? What is your big issue? You can tell us about it. You can write it in. You can keep us, you see, People Empowerment, understand what that says. It's People Empowerment. I'm here to empower you, the people. I'm here to be the voice of the people, to make our voice heard. How do we get our voice to be heard? We have to unite. We have to unify. The more of us that are together, we have the power in the numbers. And that's why I would say to you, come on to the website, view the shows, view this show, and then register your support for the movement of the people. Register your support for we the people. That's what it's about. It's about us, okay? It's about changing the conditions in our community. What is this show about? Changing the conditions in our community. What is this show about? Changing the conditions in our community. Because see, everybody can sit at home and say, oh yeah, he's right about this. Oh yeah, Nate Boyd is right about this. But what I say to you is, who will step forward and step up and stand beside Nate Boyd? You understand? I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about the people. I'm very passionate about jobs for the residents. I'm very passionate about being tired of what's going on. I'm very passionate about doing business as usual, the same thing as usual. I'm tired. I'm fired up. You know what? They call me downtown. Some people, they call me the angry man. They call me the angry man. Well, guess what, Buffalo? I am angry. I'm very angry and I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because I see what's going on in my community. I see what's going on in my village. And even though there's a villager in charge that looks like me, nothing has really changed for me and those like me. You know, and then we go a little deeper, we break it down. Even in my community, in the hood. Listen, like I said, I live in the hood, right in the hood. Nothing's changed in the hood. The leaders in the hood have not changed either. The leaders in the hood remain the same, and the condition in the hood remains the same. So what does that mean to you? That means that somebody's got to step up and got to step forward to change our condition. That means one of us has to step up and step forward and change our condition. Now let me tell you about me, Nate Boyd. I'm just like you. I'm one of you. I ain't no perfect Mr. Goody Goody. My life when I grew up, listen, I was into drugs. I was into fighting. I was into violence. I was into womanizing. Okay, I was into, I don't want to say gang banging, but, you know, hanging with my friends and starting trouble here and there or whatever. I was probably a typical child of Buffalo, who didn't have a father to direct him and only had the mother who loved him there. But everybody knows that you need a man to raise a son. You need a man to raise a man child. And that's why so many of our children have fell off, okay? But I'm telling you, I'm just like you. And I have stepped up from among you. I said to myself, I'm tired of the way things are. I need to do something about this to change it. I'm tired of things are. So I step forward and I say, no matter what I am, no matter how dirty my past may be, no matter what I came from, I'm not the same Nate Boyd that I was in the past. I'm not the same Nate Boyd that a lot of y'all remember out there. The fighter, okay? The hustler. The gambler. You know what I mean? And if need be, the defender. I'm talking about defending for good and bad. Both sides of the fence. I played it. But now, through necessity of what's going on in my village, I decided to change. What's going on in my village, I decided to step forward and be the man that God meant me to be. I decided to step forward and get on the mission that God want me to be on. And that's why I'm telling y'all to go to the website and sign up. Join me. Join me in this fight to make our voices heard. Join me in the fight to change the condition in our community. Join me and others like me in the fight to change what's going on around Jefferson, around Utica, around Maston, around Fillmore, the hood. You understand what I'm talking about? The hood. That's what this is about. Changing the condition in the hood, where I come from, where you come from. Okay? Now we got the big city picture, that's one thing. But then we got the even smaller, more intense, more precise picture of what's going on in our particular community, in our particular neighborhood. Now, I would say to you that there is a way to curtail the violence in our neighborhoods. There is a way to curtail the gunplay in our neighborhoods. There is a way to change the mentality of our children in our neighborhood. And I'm telling you, and that starts with our leaders who we have elected to lead us. Let me tell you something. Bullets continue to fly around this city. Bullets continue to fly. Our children, our young men continue to get killed. They continue to kill each other. But I tell you something, and this is from the heart. I tell you something, this is so clear. I tell you something, you can't get around it. Nothing stops a bullet like a job. I'll say it again. Nothing stops a bullet like a job. You understand? Them same young men that out here shooting and killing, if they had jobs, they'd be working, and then late at night they'd be home getting some rest, getting ready to go to their job. But because they don't have no job, no future, nothing to look forward to, they continue to hurt each other, maim each other, kill each other. But I'll tell you what, give some of them kids out there with those guns in their hands some jobs and see what happens. Give some of those little murderers, I'll say it, murderers, jobs, and see if they can change their attitude toward killing. Give them a job, give them responsibility where they can feel good about themselves. I mean, what's so hard to understand about a man needing a job? What's so hard to understand about a young black teenager needing a job? What's so hard to understand about a black woman needing a job? What's so hard to understand about black people in our community needing jobs? Why does everything have to always run down the lines of race? And even when we get a villager in place that looks like us, still the racial divide remains. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess that's me thinking too much about what was going to change. Because when Obama got elected, I said to myself, okay, this is the first black president. Things are going to change for us black people. But you know, things really haven't changed that much for black people. They really haven't changed that much for black people, even though there's a black president in the White House. What does that say? That say we haven't done enough to affect change, to persuade people to affect change, to push our leaders to change. That's what it says. So our condition remains the same. And then when we got our first black mayor, I wasn't even living in Buffalo, but I was down in Florida. But I was so excited to find out we had our first black mayor. And I said to myself, things are going to change in the community for us blacks. Well, unfortunately, I was sadly mistaken. And it hurts me to my heart that I had been so far sadly mistaken about the changes in my community. You know, even though I know that he's for the whole city, and we have our specific community leaders that are put in place, but still, he is the leader overall. And so I really expected more. And so far it seems like I've gotten less. So you know what I mean? I'm feeling that it's more of the same. I'm feeling that it's more of the same. I'm feeling sad for my people. I'm feeling sad for my village. I'm feeling sad for what's going on because, like I say, we all believe, we all expect to change. And so I would say to you that this is very important. Things are changing. This is a year of change. Next year is a year of change. But whatever we do now and whatever we do before the primaries in September are going to be the catalyst for change. It's going to be the catalyst for change. What we decide to do now. I'm telling you, people, it's time to rally. I'm telling you, people, it's time to come together. Now, let me say something else to the people, okay, that continues along the same pathways to change. What, again, is the biggest word that's involved in change when it comes to communities and comes to people and comes to citizens? Again, it's the 4-letter word, jobs. Now, as you know, there's been talk going on for the last few years about a stadium coming to downtown Buffalo. At first it was just talk and it was just thrown around, and now it's getting more and more intense. But now let's look at that. Let's look at a stadium were to come to downtown Buffalo. What would be the effects of a stadium in downtown Buffalo? Well, it's a 4-letter word, isn't it? And that 4-letter word is jobs. If that stadium was to come down to Buffalo, there'd be more jobs created for the villagers. That's what I'm talking about. For the villagers, there's be more revenue, more income coming into the village that could be circled in the village. The circulation of that money could be in the village to improve everything that's going on in the village. So the stadium, the talks of the proposed stadium, it's a great idea. It's an incredible idea. It's an incredible vision. You know, it's really an incredible vision. And I tell you, my hat is off to Pat Freeman for continuing to push this idea. You know, continuing to push this idea. And I've heard the comments in the Common Council about the councilmen. They believe that this is a good idea, that this is a great idea, you know, to bring a stadium to downtown Buffalo. Imagine it. Imagine the revenue. Imagine the city appeal, you know. It's already a beautiful city. And, you know, and I hear him talking in the council about all the historical sites that we have here in Buffalo. So a new stadium downtown Buffalo would just tie into that. It would just tie into that. And it would be such a great thing. Now, all these things that are going on around the city and in different communities. And what I say to you, it comes back to, well, what about my community? What's going on in my community? Okay, well, the Martin Luther King Park thing going on in my community. The Splash Park is supposed to be ready to go by Juneteenth, correct? It's supposed to go. But now I look at it. I tell you, look how long that it's taken for that project to be completed. Do you think if that project was in one of these other communities, it would have took that long to be completed? I'm not satisfied in what's going on in my community. I'm not satisfied with the specific community leaders in my community where this project is going on, and they've let the contractors be so slow about it, you know, be so non-productive about it. You know, when is our community going to come first? When is our community going to come first to our leaders who we have elected. When? You understand something? I mean, not to jump around too much, but let me explain something to you guys. It's about we, the people. Do you understand? It's about we, the people. And this is something that I harp on because we elect officials, city leaders, to do the will of the people. We elect them because they exhibit dreams and aspirations that are ours, that we believe in, to improve our community, to improve our lives. And so they come to us and they tell us these things, they elaborate these things, they share these things with us, and we take positions behind this one or that one, and we sustain them and we push them through. And in a lot of instances, we the people allow our choices to win. And then once they've won, we expect our leaders to do the will of the people. We expect our district leaders to do the will of the people. We expect our main leaders to do the will of the people. You understand? And what it boils down to is, if the people we have elected to do the will of the people don't do the will of the people, then it's time for change. Then it's time for somebody like you. It's time for somebody like me to come from the ranks of the people and step forward and say, I will be next. I will take up the gavel. I will take up the fight. You understand? Listen, you don't have to be anybody special. You don't have to have a special degree, special training, this and that. All you have to do is be someone that cares about the people. All you got to do is be someone that loves the people, that's willing to put the people even before yourself. And I'm telling you right now, at this point, I'm ready to put myself before the people. I'm ready to put myself to the business of the people. I'm ready to help to search out and to help to find new leaders for my community, new leaders to improve my community. And if we can't find new leaders, then we have to become those leaders ourselves. If we can't find new leaders, then we have to step forward and we have to take up the gavel. We have to step up and say, I'm the next one. And we have to rally our people behind us, our brothers and our sisters, our cousins, our mothers, our fathers, our friends, in our community, in our village. We have to gather all the villagers together. And that's why I'm telling you people right now, start right now. Come to the website, register, answer the poll questions. Tell us what your issue is. Tell us how you are willing to join the team. Tell us what your feelings are. Tell us what you want to address. Tell us what you want to see change. Tell us how you feel about your community. Tell us how you feel about your leaders. Tell us what you love and what you hate. Tell us what you had enough of. Tell us when it's time for change. Do you see it the way we see it? Okay? The only way that we are going to break the cycle, only way that we are going to break the cycle is if we try to start right now. Is if we start right now. You see, the record is so true. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, but the whole team is not here. Yeah, we started from the bottom, and I'm talking about, when I say that, I'm talking about the villagers, the black villagers. We started from the bottom, from up under the bottom. And now the truth is, we are here, because now we are here, and we are really able to reach out and touch anything that we can dream of if we put enough into it, if the right people are behind us. Anything is possible. But it becomes impossible when the powers that be are able to separate us. Okay? When they separate us, they break us down. And that's the best way to overcome a people, to overcome a village, to overcome a nation, is to separate and conquer. But what I would say to you is, what I would pose to you today is, it's time for us to come together in unity. It's time for us to unify and try to speak with one voice. It's time for you to come to the site, People Empowerment, and register your support for our movement. Register your support for being united with the people. It's time. And if you ain't got a website, and if you can't get to the website, you ain't got a computer, then call the phone number. Okay, and talk to me personally, and I'll get it done. I believe that our time is almost up, unfortunately. So I will say that this is Nate Boyd from People Empowerment. I just love this show today, telling you all, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention.